everybody, I am back. I am here with my rainbow hair back. Yay. I'm here in my bedroom with the guitars. So I have my rainbow hair back. I really hated the other hair. I kind of wanted to change, and I wanted like half red and half blonde, but that's not what I got. And it was like kind of red, and then I washed it and it came brown, and I washed my hair in like ice cold water. That should not have happened, and I was just so unhappy with it. It was patchy, it was weird, it was terrible. Luckily, my usual person, her coworker, because my regular person is on maternity. She had a baby boy. Congratulations. But her coworker fixed it for me. She did a great job, and we're sticking with rainbow. I felt so much more like myself, and I was like, whoo, rainbow hair. But that is not what you're here for. You're here for what it says on the tin, which is comparing demon decks. So we're going to be comparing 3 decks today: the Occult Tarot, the Fallen Angel Oracle, which is probably the oldest of these decks, and then I never know how to say this. I don't know if it's Goetia or Goetia. I'm going to say Goetia, and if I'm wrong, you can laugh at me. It is the Goetia Tarot in Darkness that just came out recently, comparing them, telling you which one I think is better, so you know if you were interested in these type of fallen angel themed decks, you know which one to get. Now, despite that 2 of them have the word tarot in them, I would not use any of these personally as a tarot deck. I mean, if you want to, go right ahead. But I just don't think that they're really suited to this. So I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of each one, so that if you're in the market for one of these, which one you might want to work with. So the first one I've had for years is the Fallen Angel Oracle. This one is by Nigel Suckling. It is by Seco Books. And it's been out for a number of years. I believe they're reprinting this as well. I think it was out of print for a little while, but I'm pretty sure you can easily get these if you're interested, because I believe, like I said, they are reprinting them. I love this deck. This has 72 demons that are in the Goetia. The Goetia is a book from, I believe it's the 1600s. They were categorizing demons, because back then, you got to understand the history that back then they really wanted to categorize everything, and they were really into making magical systems incredibly complex. There is sort of this mythology that, when and again, you have to remember this is from this is medieval Christian mythology, that there was a fight between Lucifer and God. Lucifer didn't want to listen to God anymore. He was an angel, but he was like, no, I'm going to do my own thing. And then some of the angels went with him, and some were against him, and others were kind of in the middle and didn't want to take sides. And so, there was a war, and Michael and God won. Michael's the leader of God's angels, and Lucifer was banished, along with even the angels that didn't want to take sides. They were sort of like banished away from things. And the mythology goes that those angels also fell in love with humans and had children called the Niflheim. Anyway, there's this whole story. But it's important to note that that's actually out of medieval thinking, and that they made this whole list of demons, and they've all got these ranks like dukes and earls and marquis and all this stuff, right? You can tell it's totally out of feudal medieval societies. So I don't want people to be like all scared, because you have to remember this is like made up in medieval times. I really like working with these for shadow work, because they tell us about parts of ourselves that maybe are a little bit darker, maybe are kind of hidden away, or we don't want to look at. And a lot of these demons, fallen angels, are named after old gods or old nature spirits, because you have to remember that the church literally demonized anything that wasn't, didn't fall in under their into their worldview. So I think that's helpful in working with these, because people get scared when they kind of hear this, but I think if you keep the history and mythology in mind, you'll be fine. So I really like this deck because packaging is good. You can keep it in the package. The book is not terribly big, but it is very thoughtful. So the artwork on this one. Cardstocks, you know, it's on the thinner side, but I don't mind that. It's shiny, it's laminated. Again, I don't mind that. These are all based on, they're sort of computer altered, but they're based on photography of statues and also based on photography of in graveyards. So they're very pretty, very kind of like, you know, kind of dark, kind of somber, but not threatening at all. A good one here. They have keywords on them. My one criticism with this deck is that they do reuse some of the keywords, but it is a really nice deck to work with. There's 72 cards here, one for each of those spirits. The book, like I said, is pretty good. It's a thin book, but it's actually well done. You know, it has a little introduction kind of telling you about some of the history of that, the gender of the angels, each one is associated with an element, with the planets, how to lay out the cards. So, you know, like it's just like a typical guidebook, but when it comes to the meanings, they have some really nice meanings in here. It is very thoughtful. It warns, like these cards, I pull about one of them a month, and I have to say they've always been on the money. So they kind of warn you about like behaviors that you might have to watch out for within yourself or within others. It's really kind of talking to you about the shadow of things. And so I really like this book because I think it's quite thoughtful, and I think that despite sometimes the keywords get reused, the meanings are unique to themselves, and I find this actually to be a quite loving deck. So I would highly recommend this one if you are a beginner to this and you're looking to work with these. The second one I got a while ago, a couple of months ago, is the Occult Tarot, and I have to tell you, the best thing about this is the packaging. This is gorgeous, but unfortunately, this has nothing to do with like anything in here. I would not use this as a tarot. The book in here is not very good. Again, packaging looks beautiful, but the book, you might as well throw it out, quite frankly. It's very pretty. It's, you know, it's got this dark, you know, kind of aesthetic to it, which is nice. But they don't tell you why they picked the cards for certain demons. Like, it's just, it says nothing. It says nothing even about what the card means. So if, let's say you're a beginner and you pick this up as a tarot deck, you would not know anything. Like, for example, Ipis is the Two of Wands. It says nothing here about what the Two of Wands means. It's just a picture of the card, and it doesn't say anything that it doesn't already say on the bottom of the card. I found that the person who wrote this doesn't really know anything about the history of the Goetia. They have like a summoning ritual, which is ridiculous, to be honest. I'm just being blunt because I don't want you to waste your money. And they list dates that are part of the pagan calendar to summon demons, and they have nothing to do with paganism. So it's disappointing, to say the least. This particular looks beautiful. It's like beautiful icing on a terrible cake. The only reason I would keep this deck, again, looks great on the back here, is because this uses the artwork from a 19th century work called the Dictionary Infernal. You can look up these drawings online. So just as like a comparison, you could use it to compare the artwork to, oh, there, Stolas, he's so cute. To compare it to some of the other artwork, and really as a reference is really all I would use this for. It's, you know, if you didn't know anything about them, it would be, the book is utterly useless. I have to be frank. Okay, so that's the second one. The third one I got was a Kickstarter. I don't know if you can even get it unless you were part of the Kickstarter, and it is a gorgeous deck called the Goetia Tarot in Darkness. That's the back there. It's all black and silver. This is one of the most beautiful pieces of art I've ever received. I'm just going to rave about the packaging for a minute. Beautiful. You open it up. There's like a beautiful thing of Lucifer in there. This book that comes with it is so thoughtfully written. It's like the opposite of the other book. The guy talks about, you know, the Kabbalah. He talks about the tree of life as compared to the tree of knowledge, sort of like the reverse of the tree of life in the Kabbalah. He talks about how demons represent the repressed part of ourselves and in society, and how he sees them as more like symbols of our subconscious, and how we have to come to terms with them and befriend them, or else they become monsters. The pages here, you've got a nice thumbnail. He talks about why it links, you know, about that particular fallen angel, and then why that particular card is linked to them. There's like a link, like there's some thought put into why that card was linked with that particular being, so to speak. It is in the order of the Goetia, so it isn't in the order of what the cards are. He also has the element and the planetary associations, just like the Fallen Angel Oracle does. It is a really thoughtfully written book. The cards are gorgeous. Oh my God. So much gorge. I have to tell you, it came with a beautiful print. It came with a bag. It came with a altar cloth, like a cloth to read on. It came with like 6 of these seals to keep them in check. The little demons, like the seal of Solomon you've got there. Ba, ba, ba. I was missing 2, and Los Scarabeo, who is the company that published this deck, kindly sent me all 6 again and a bag. I have to say thank you to them for that. It was wonderful. But this deck is like so beautiful. I don't even know what to say. It's like darkly beautiful and lovely, like the silver, like you can see the colors coming off of that. It is gorgeous. So this one gets A+ points for its beauty, but also it isn't just beautiful. It's obvious that the author, he's also the person that wrote the book, really, really thought about this, really looked at the psychology of this, the history. He didn't just slap something together because, oh, demons are popular right now, because Sabrina, you know, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Supernatural and all that kind of stuff that's out there right now. It's a really cool deck. It's a piece of art, that's for sure. So anyway, my thoughts are, if you are a beginner and if you're a little trepidatious about this, I mean, because let's face it, in Western society, you know, the mythology around this, people are like, ooh, spooky stuff, right? I would highly recommend, if you are beginning, I'm just trying to put this in the box, to go with the Fallen Angel Oracle. It is inexpensive. It is well done, this deck. The meanings are not scary. And if you work with it, you'll find, I've found that it reads really well. And it's a deck that kind of warns you of things like your own behaviors that maybe you need to watch out for, or in others, but it doesn't do it in this like harsh, scary manner. It's actually like a really, I find, really loving deck to work with. If you can afford it, and if you can find it, I don't know if you can get it, definitely the Goetia Tarot is an investment. If you like this kind of artwork, if you're not bothered by this subject matter, I would highly recommend this deck. Again, a lot of thought into it. Skip the Occult Tarot unless you're looking to collect those pieces of artwork, is my advice. So I'm thinking of doing a one-on-one comparison with each of them. If you're interested in that, let me know. I'm also thinking of developing a sort of shadow tarot reading to put up on my site, but we'll see how that goes. Otherwise, you can check out my Etsy shop for readings if you want. I also have on my Patreon weekly tarot scopes, and also tiers where you can get your own personal monthly reading along with all the goodies. So check that out. Let me know what you think. Do you find this stuff, like, would you work with this stuff or not? Do you find it too scary? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, guys. And as always, peace and love and light.